Hey, Julie.
Hi, Joel.
Well, we are back.
We are.
And we are back on Career Lab. And just for all of our new listeners, as well as our repeat listeners, Career Lab, of course, is the podcast where America's career counselor, Julie LaCroix, my colleague and friend sitting right across from me, helps professionals of all ages, all stripes, all designations, all fortitudes with their career challenges, helping them launch, helping them get leverage, helping them transition, and all those kinds of things. And of course, I'm along for the ride too. Being a professional coach, I kind of throw a little bit in here and there.
A little bit of good stuff, Joel.
A little bit of good stuff, yeah. So, hey, anything fun you want to talk about before we start? You ready to go?
I have a big secret that I'm not really willing to share with the podcast, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
Wink, wink.
All right.
I'm having fun out here.
But you know what? Everybody know that you heard it here first. Julie's got a secret, okay? And that's exciting because if you know me, you know that I will get that secret out of Julie. And it won't be too long. So hang on. In a future podcast, all will be revealed. Well, our first guest right now in this segment is Harris. And we want to say good morning to you, Harris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing fine. Nice to have you on the show, and thanks for joining us here on Career Lab. Harris, we're going to send this over to Julie, and she's going to begin to help you work through your career challenges, okay?
Sounds good.
Good.
Hi, Harris.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. I'm glad that you reached out to us. 28 years old.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, and kind of struggling getting some career traction, it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay, so at 28, this is a great time for career counseling because we really want to try to seat you in something that you can build on and that can become sustainable. We really don't want to defer your entry into the professional world too much longer so that you can start to, build a life for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sounds like you went to get the graphic design degree. Did you get the professional certificate or the AA?
I did, yeah. I got an AA in graphic arts over at Golden West College.
Okay, and then you worked in it for 10 months and didn't like it.
Exactly.
So Did you like the coursework?
I feel like I did like the coursework. I liked the creative part of it. I think it was just hard, maybe staring at a computer all day. Maybe it was the fact that I was in an office all day. And I think the job itself just wasn't super creative either. So that was kind of hard for me.
Okay.
Usually when people go into graphic design or arts, one of their background skills is that they're good at that. They have a background in drawing or graphic or design and they like it.
Comics.
Yeah. So all of that stuff. Do you have that kind of background, Harris? Are you talented in that way?
Actually, I have a lot of artistic family members.
Yeah.
I've been doing artwork ever since I can remember, and
you like
that's actually my hobby right now.
Right, and you like art, you like being creative, you like drawing, you like expressing yourself in that way as members of your family as well. Yeah, is that right?
Yes.
Do you feel
correct.
like you have some talent?
I do.
Okay, good. Those are really good things for Julie and I.
I love his confidence. Harris, it sounds like maybe you're on the right path, but maybe just didn't find the right environment. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that could be the case. Yeah, I think so.
Harris,
you are a man of few words.
Well, let me jump in here, Julie, and ask Harris, because I know a lot about the arts, having been involved in them myself for many years. So do you see yourself as being more directly involved in art, Harris, or in an applied context, like being a graphic designer for a company that's doing something? Or do you see yourself as actually producing artwork yourself? Where do you see yourself fitting in that continuum?
I really see myself producing artwork. It's, I'm a little bit introverted, and when I'm creating, when I'm drawing, when I'm doing artwork, it's relaxing for me. It's therapeutic. And I love it. I mean, I really, really love it. I think one of the hard things for me is, the fact that I look around, it's like, well, I don't really see that many artists making money. I need to make money. And I think that's, it's a little bit, maybe a little bit discouraging, but also, I mean, I'm going to do this, whether it's a hobby or a career.
Good. Well, let me jump in here and pass this over to Julie in a minute. But what I can say to you about that is very important. And this goes to all of our listeners. If you have a passion, an art form that you're good at, do not give it up.
Don't.
Because you will regret it for the rest of your life. Whether or not it can be your day job, whether you can make money is unclear. But that doesn't really matter because there's got to be a way, and Julie will help you in a moment, find a way to maybe find a way to express that in a money-making context. But Harris, don't give up what you love doing because you're good at it. It's your passion, and it fulfills a spot in you, as it does for everyone, that can't be fulfilled by anything else. Those who have artistic talent know that there's a satisfaction that comes from that kind of creation that nothing else, money, people, travel, nothing else will fill. So don't give that up.
As Morgan Freeman says, he's right, you know.
That's right, Morgan Freeman.
I like that.
I like Morgan Freeman too.
And that right there is really all you needed to hear. We need to now just give you some tools to explore that more vigorously in, as Joel says, a money-making way. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right, let's do this. So you have STEM skills. STEM is now STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So these are the in high demand skills. Just because you don't see where art fits doesn't mean it doesn't fit. It means you don't have enough information. High in demand skills going into high in demand jobs. I do not have art skills. You do not want me doing your art, company X. You want someone like Harris doing your art. There aren't many people who have those talents. And with visual assets becoming more and more important in how a company communicates its brand, your art skills are becoming even more in high demand and more valuable. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Yes, every brand has to. I mean, in this age of abundance, there's only one way to sell a product, and that's through emotion or art. Lots of choices out there. How'd you pick the chair you're sitting in? How many choices did you have?
Harris, when what Julie is leading you towards is absolutely where you need to go, because what she's essentially saying is, you can use your talent in a couple of different ways. You can create pure art, the art you really want to create for yourself. And then, as you've already shown with your graphic design work you've tried to do, you could create it in an applied context. It's just that particular context that you were in for, I believe, 10 months, where you were sitting in front of a screen in an office, probably wasn't the right one for you. But do you know how many graphic designers are employed by companies in very creative ways?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is a big sector that Julie's going to tell you about right now.
That's right. So you can probably get into a company that is doing something a little more sexy, something a little more stimulating, a little more invigorating, maybe a little bit more hip or into your interest areas in terms of products. And you can get on a graphic design team that is an accessory to the brand team. And you might find that you really end up liking the conception. Maybe you might move away professionally from just the art and expand that to how art communicates and conveys a brand story. And you might end up moving over time onto a brand development team or a brand management team. That would be a way to leverage, attempt to reseat the graphic design skill set in a more stimulating environment, and then kind of see where it flows from there, kind of into marketing and branding. Another place it could flow, although I don't think this would be for you, but you never know, I just want to put it out there, is working on a graphic design team, obviously for a larger company with a lot of digital assets, and taking the role of their digital asset manager. The field of DAM, D-A-M, digital asset management, is growing, and there's a point person or a small point team for major companies to kind of categorize and kind of essentially be the librarian for all of the visuals that are going out in all of the campaigns. That's a very busy job. And that comes into meta tagging and sorting and organizing and storing and archiving and retrieving and helping different departments decide on which assets to use, whether it's a sound clip or a video clip or a photograph or a graphic, a stamp of a logo. And so you can really be the authority in a company and help organize and orchestrate the visual impressions that the company is making.
Gosh, Julie, I got to jump in here because that was a really beautiful exploration of that particular job type. That is a very powerful job, and that was such a great description. Harris, is that you? Do you have those skills to kind of do the cataloging, organizing, digital asset manager, or are you more of the creative front end, the guy who wants to do the designs himself?
I think I'm more of the first one, a little bit more creative. I like doing the designs. I do have an attention to detail. But yeah, I think I see myself more as a creator.
Okay, well, I wanted to hear that because Julie described that job great. That may not be for you.
Yeah.
But I did want to.
He should know it's there, though.
Right. You should know it's there because you may be able to migrate into it as you mature and you stay with the company for a while. Sometimes you become so good at understanding their digital portfolio that, as Julie pointed out so eloquently, you want to become an asset manager and not just design. But what I want to say to you now at this point, since you're young and you're in the most exciting part of your career journey, is that there are a lot of ways to actually design for companies. It's not all very kind of rote CAD computer type stuff. There's many companies that will give you more freedom and give you a little longer leash. And that's what you should look for. That's where you should try to take that skill portfolio to somewhere where, again, you'll feel a little more comfortable, where it'll be a little more creative, a little less rigid, and yet you'll be able to make money.
Yeah, and then the two more physical environments for art that I wanted to point out to you are, of course, merchandising displays. There are individuals who work for brands, a large retailer, for instance, and they literally design and build and create the storefronts. Imagine the Saks Fifth Avenue windows or the Anthropologie windows. And every couple months, those windows change, and there's somebody employed by the company to work across a regional area to collaborate with the people following the consumer trends, the buyers and the sales team to figure out what the windows should have. And that takes everything from tools and piping and plumbing and sawing and welding and drawing and painting and materials work to, just really good communication and budgeting per project skills. And so working in kind of a more visual merchandising, visual displays manner might get you that sensory work that you like so much, actually picking up the paintbrush, so to speak. And then another area to explore, I don't know if you have any engineering skills or mechanical skills, but, just good old fashioned product development takes a nice combination of product development, R&D, which is research and development, and maybe some basic mechanical or engineering, but always, always, always some creative skills. So being an ancillary to a product development team and infusing kind of the look and feel of how the product is going to be. Imagine the one cup coffee makers. We're not going to say the brand, but the one cup coffee maker is very, very functional from an engineering standpoint, but it's also very beautiful. And so there's somebody on the team that makes it very beautiful and draws up the prototype. So there are so many other ways. I mean, obviously in film and in corporate events, there are lots of different ways to be artistic. You could sell your skills as a freelancer. But, why don't we hear from you a little bit about what some of your own personal interests are in the creative arts so that maybe we can help you kind of channel through some of the different occupational pathways that we're trying to illuminate for you. Career education is the story of this call, by the way. I mean, I'm trying to really show you and the other listeners who have the creative skill set and aren't really sure where the jobs are. I'm trying to kind of create some career education here, a framework for everybody to start to be thinking differently about where they do fit. And
the role of art and talent in one's career and one's career arc. So go ahead, tell us a little bit about where you think you might fit.
I mean, like I said, I like, the drawing and I like working with my hands. When you were talking about the visual merchandising, the jobs the careers that people have with displays and stuff like that kind of sparked something a little bit. I just, I like, I don't know. I like to be outside. I like to work with my hands.
Are you handy? Can you do tools and construction? Can you construct things?
I can. Yes. Yeah. That's, that just sounds a little bit more appealing than just being inside all day. And I know, you have to, there's a give and take, but I don't know. I'm just trying to open up my mind a little bit.
You don't have to work inside all day.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I think you don't want to be limited by that. Julie has given you a very good door that you can go through that might have some other kinds of job opportunities. So I'm glad you're able to help us find that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to gather an inventory, kind of all of the skills and all the tools, the art skills and the mechanical skill set that you have, or the construction skill set with all the different tools, and throw it onto a resume, you could even make an appeal to like an experiential marketing firm and go build their pop-up installations and help create those pop-up installations. That's a really, really interesting career path, experiential marketing. I would think that would be, I mean, that's having a team in the company, but then going out into the field and re-architecting the back of a semi-truck into an experience for a brand that people at the food festival are going to walk into and have a whole new world and disco ball and the whole drop down, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of cool stuff.
Well said. So before we have to wrap up, Julie, can you give Harris a couple of specific pathways he might try to go down to access some of this?
Yeah, I would Google around for experiential marketing, and I would look at some of the major players in New York, Chicago, LA, and start to get a feel for what types of projects these people are working on. And usually in creative firms, those professionals are happy to put their profiles up on the website and kind of show you, the reader, a little bit about their pathways and kind of see if you think you might fit in with those types of people. Again, this is asking you to just look around. It's not job searching. It's what I call job researching, and seeing if maybe experiential marketing and getting on one of those teams would be a nice entree for you to kind of use those art skills, the construction skills, and the project and teamwork kind of out in the field that you like. And then, food and beverage and retail have a lot of visual merchandising, visual display. And so that's going to be anything from a store window to architecting the interior of the new cool restaurant down the street. And then big companies like Disney also, by the way, they do, Starbucks, the big brands do that stuff too. Yeah.
So Harris, do you feel like this has helped you kind of understand a little bit where you're at and maybe get some direction?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it's a good platform to expand a little bit. And yeah, you guys definitely helped me out. I think it's just breaking outside of the box I live in a little bit, and just knowing that there's more stuff out there,
right?
Instead of just a desk job.
Yeah, good, because we're trying to broaden your bandwidth, because you don't want to live in a box. That's not who you are.
No.
And one other thing we wanted to ask you before we finish up today: when you do paint on your own, or when you do creative artwork, what is your subject area? What do you like to draw, paint, or whatever your art form is? What do you like to? What's the content?
Yeah, I like to create expressions. I like to a lot of faces. I'll put faces on random. I'll create like a beer can, and it'll be like a character with a face. Or I'll create a scene with an animal, and it'll have like a human facial expression.
Wow, well, we didn't know that. That harks back to Julie's suggestion about Disney. That's the kind of thing that is absolutely done, hugely these days.
Well, and it shows that he's so in tune with emotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
You probably see a lot. You probably have outstanding observation skills. I'm going to make a long-term bet on you. Okay, Harris, you ready? I'm going to lay it out. I think your introversion and creativity has led you to some outstanding compensatory skills to take in, intuit, observe, admire, and really see how the world is operating and how people are operating. I'll bet you are a student of human emotion. Whether you think you are now or not, I'll bet over the years you will be. You will have collected enough data, and you will probably end up being an art director, coordinating teams who are creatively skilled, because you will probably be the one that is the master of exactly the message that needs to go out.
Wow, thank you.
Okay, well, listen, Harris, it's been great having you on the show, and you've really been a great guest, because you brought forward some really critical issues that people who do have artistic skills deal with all the time. Like, how do I get a day job, and how do I keep my art going? And then when you shared what you actually do, I think there will be a lot of doors open for you. So it's been a pleasure having you on the show. One of us will reach out to you afterwards so we can do a little deeper dive and talk a little bit more about the things that came up today.
Great.
And in the meantime, do you think it was valuable and helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Okay,
Wait,
good.
Can I hate to do this because I know we're wrapping up, but I just have to say one thing. I would just not be able to put my head on my pillow if I didn't say this.
Okay, but the director can throw the cold water on you, though, afterward. But go for it, Julie. Okay,
Harris, I know you're 28 years old, and you might not have ever really thought about that, but I just need you to get really honest when I ask you this question, okay? Do you have any interest in the sciences?
Any interest in?
Sciences. Human science, life science. Biology. anatomy?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I haven't thought about it too much, but why?
Facial reconstruction. Just something to think about.
Okay, well, listen, it's been great having you on the show. Think about those things. We'll reach out to you. And again, we'll talk soon, Harris.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, guys.
Wow. Well,
Wow.
thank you. That was a pretty great call.
That was an awesome call.
So what do you want to say about that guy, Julie?
I think the world already knows how what my synopsis is. That would be a deferred entry into a line of work because of lack of education about where the jobs are and where his skills can develop and fit.
So here's what's going on with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is introverted. And
yeah, what is going on with this guy? You tell us, Joel.
Well, it didn't come out until I asked the question about what his art content was.
Oh, okay. What'd you see?
Then
I'd love to know.
And then it came out. Well, it's very interesting because I think we all probably would have assumed that was not the content of his art. When he said that, it blew my mind, to use a phrase, pardon me. And the reason was because there are a lot of artists like that who do how do you think, for example, Disney comes up with the extraordinary palette of characters and art? I mean, if you've ever really looked at their product, these people are brilliant. Yeah. But a lot of them are introverts, geeks, weirdo. They couldn't find another job if it came up and whacked them in the face. And yet they fit so perfectly in that world. That's this guy.
Yeah.
That's this guy. He spoke to it when he described what he did. And it was like all the lights in the studio just came on and I went, hallelujah.
Yeah, you nailed it then. Character development. That's it.
Absolutely.
Disney, are you listening? Universal, are you listening? We got your next character developer right here. For a while, when I never really understood, because I never really looked at it, what it actually took to work in that world. But then I had an opportunity through stuff I was doing to look at some of what they actually do. And these guys and gals are so incredibly talented, but they're all kind of a certain ilk. Yeah. They're all a little unusual, and they all have this personality type that fits for them, creating something very special. I mean, imagine what Harris said, creating facial masks on soup cans. I know. It's like Andy Warhol redo. It's not close. It's called a concept artist, I believe.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what it's called.
He's a concept artist.
You've done your art history, girl.
No, I just do my occupational labor market studying every weekend and memorize all the different jobs out there.
Well, we'll have to check back with him because I really hope he lands somewhere. And he's also a guy who I can understand why he didn't like what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
Or why he didn't want to sit in front of that screen. Exactly, right. And plus, just the idea of what he's doing in terms of the content of his creativity is so unique. I hope he can really make a go of it.
Me too. 28, it's not too late. He's got to run, though. He's got to run.
Yeah, 28, it's not too late. That's a good rhyme for today. Okay, my dear, great show.
Good to work with you, Joel.
See you soon.